If you're considering purchasing a property with tenants in place and you intend to live in the property, it's important to understand your rights and obligations as a purchaser and a potential landlord. My name is Rhiannon Jenkins, Buyer's Agent, and this is Nick Viner, Principal of Buyer's Domain. Nick, can you tell us how buyers can navigate buying a property with tenants in place?
Sure, Rhiannon. I'm going to share my 3 top tips in relation to this matter. My first tip is for buyers to check if the property they're considering purchasing has a lease actually in place. Check if the lease is a periodic agreement or if the lease has a fixed term. If the lease is periodic and the landlord is intending to sell the property with vacant possession, then the landlord must provide 30 days notice to the tenant to vacate once the contract is entered into. If there's a fixed lease in place, the tenancy agreement must run its course until the end of the fixed period. And if the new owners want to move in after the fixed term ends, the landlord must provide 30 days notice. My second tip is for buyers to check the vendor's preference for settlement terms and if they are open to selling with vacant possession. If the property is nearing the end of the fixed lease term, so for example there are 2 months remaining on the lease, and you don't want the responsibility of managing the tenant, ask if you can request to extend the settlement period for 2 months and require that notice to vacate is provided so you can take vacant possession of the property without the tenant in place. And my third and final tip for buyers is that if you're willing to take responsibility for the tenancy until the fixed term ends, I mean you might be an investor and that's always been in your intention, then request the ingoing tenancy report and ask for a tenant reference from the property manager so you can feel more comfortable about the tenant's ability to pay the rent and to take care of the property.
Thanks, Nick. These are great tips for buyers. Also remember that the managing agency agreement between the property manager and the owner is personal to the landlord, so you don't need to keep the same property manager as the vendor's property manager. At Buyer's Domain, we provide property management services as well as buyer's agency services. My final suggestion is for buyers to discuss all of the points listed above with your conveyancer or solicitor so you can understand all of your options.